And now we would like to introduce a very special person.
This is Kim Broomer. She has served as a kindergarten teacher for her entire 22-year career in education, which is a long time. Teaching for the past 4 years at Ruby Bridges Elementary School, she was one of the foundational teachers in the opening of Ruby Bridges, which is a fully inclusive school and an inclusionary practices demonstration site.
So Kathy Davis, who is the principal of Ruby Bridges Elementary School, says, "It is rare to experience the kind of teaching that both inspires hope and feels like a bit of magic in the air. This is what you get when you enter kindergarten with Kim Broomer."
Each day, Kim makes an ongoing commitment to creating a supportive classroom environment where each and every student feels valued and respected. She provides differentiated instruction to each student and maintains open lines of communication with parents and caregivers.
So Anna Maria, the parent of one of Kim Broomer's students, says, "Mrs. Broomer normalized differences and different modes of education and intentionally worked with each learner. In her classroom, all are loved. It is a microcosm of how the world should be."
Please welcome Kim Broomer, the 2025 Washington State Teacher of the Year.
So I'm used to speaking in front of 5-year-olds and entertaining 5- and 6-year-olds. So if I break into song and dance, that's where it comes from. So as they just said, my name is Kim Broomer, and I'm the 2025 Washington State Teacher of the Year, and this is my first official speech since winning that. So thank you for your grace and kindness. I am a general education teacher and general education teacher at an inclusive school. So to be inclusive, it means that all kids get to come and be in the school, regardless of what their socioeconomic status is, what their what languages they speak, whether they're high cap, whether they're any kind of designation. Our model is everybody just gets to come and be in the classroom. So Ruby Bridges was named after a woman who was the first child to desegregate schools in the South. And like our namesake, our school is trying to do the same thing. Segregation still exists. It just looks a little bit different. Thinking about where students go, maybe at your schools or when you went to school, where do students go when they need speech support? Usually not in the classroom. They go down the hall. Fine motor skills or gross motor skills. I have so many memories of students being pulled out of class, missing instructional time, and doing ball activities, cutting activities in a completely different setting. Are the kids actually being bused? Because when I was growing up, I didn't have any kids who were around me who walked differently or spoke differently than me, and it made me start to think. Actually, just within the last few months, I've been starting to think about, where did my neighborhood friends actually go? Because they didn't get to ride on the bus with me, and they didn't get to go to school with me. So if the opposite of segregation is inclusion, inclusion just means being able to have a seat at the table. But what I'm advocating for is more. I want schools to be spaces of belonging where each child feels valued and is able to create and make noise and enjoy their day and make friendships. And when they're gone, that they're missed because they're such a valuable part of our community. So in my classroom, because we're inclusive, the way the model works is the SLP, or the speech and language pathologist, they push into the classroom. So last year, it was 2 times a week. They would come in and they would co-teach with me. So all the kids still in the classroom, we all have to learn our letters, we all have to learn our sounds. And last year, the teacher was with me in front of the classroom, continuing to meet the students' speech goals, but also helping all kids How many 5 and 6-year-olds do you know that don't say their R's correctly? How many like the TH sound, like sticking out your tongue? All of us, even me, I was like, N and M are nasal sounds. Did you know? Like I didn't know, like there's so much more about speech and language that I have been able to now integrate into my classroom without being an SLP by degree, but because I'm getting those extra supports and all of us are able to stay in the classroom. I also want to specify that it's not just me who's benefiting and knowing about the nasal sounds or the throat sounds or all of that. But the kids who would be leaving, they actually get 35% less instruction when they leave and go to a segregated setting. So kids who are behind academically continue to be held behind because of systems that we have in place. My OT, he comes in during fine motor time, not just me, but every single classroom in the school. If there is a child in the class that needs occupational therapy or physical therapy, they come into the classroom, and so we're dancing and we're jumping, we're writing, we're learning how to write, starting at the top. All of the things that we would normally do, except for now I have an expert in the classroom who's training, giving me hands-on training, and giving all of the kids hands-on training. I just sent a picture to the OT last week saying, look at these kiddos. It was choice time. A big chunk of them chose to draw and color, and while they're holding markers, I was noticing they all have the tri-grip perfectly. They're holding their pencil correctly, so it's not a struggle for them. They've gained so much muscle strength in 1 month because we have people who are pushing in instead of pulling those kids out. So I already said that the kiddos who would be pulled out, who are on IEPs, are now gaining 35% more instruction. But what about the kiddos who are in my class anyway? I think that can be a big pushback is, well, how is that going to benefit my child? Well, I chose to have my children go to Ruby Bridges because I wanted them to be around people who look differently than them, act differently than them, because I wanted my children to be good humans. I wanted them to learn how to be kind. I wanted them to learn how to be respectful. I wanted them to learn about what happens when someone is stimming. It doesn't have to stop your learning. The world doesn't need to stop. I get to continue to learn, and my friend gets to be their authentic self. So there was no data in the 1940s and 50s and 60s saying that that there was any benefits for anybody in segregation. And today, the data is clear as well. There is no data that supports segregation. And disability is a socially acceptable way that we continue to segregate our students. Federal law asks for as much time as possible in general education, but a study that I just read yesterday said that 55 to 73% of students spend most of their day in self-contained classrooms. So if you are in a classroom where everybody is just like you, first of all, look around at our tables. Look around at who's at this room. We're here because we want to learn different things from different people who have differing experiences. We don't want segregation for ourselves. Why are we choosing to put kids in those settings? So I'm here because I was asked to. And I'm here because it isn't okay, and it isn't fair, and this needs to change. And so what I am asking for you to do is something that I had to do when I joined Ruby Bridges. When I joined for selfish reasons. It was literally 5 minutes from my home, and my bestie was gonna work there. And so I was like, yes, this is gonna be great. And then I realized, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to take on some new learning, and I have to realize that I thought I couldn't teach certain demographics of children. I thought I didn't have the skill set. I thought because I don't have a special ed degree that those aren't my people or those aren't my kids. And I think I hear that a lot still too. But what I needed to do was start to think about my own ableism and process my own ableism, and I'm still doing it. I'm still doing it. I catch myself, and I surround myself with people who are helping me catch myself on my ableist thoughts or beliefs. But I have these students who challenge me every single day with what are my thoughts and what are my feelings, and they show me and they prove to me that they are so much more than any diagnoses, so much more than any IEP goal, that they deserve to be in the same room as their peers. And we can make change. But one thing I want to bring up, because you guys are all advocates, is that I've been told over and over again that my voice doesn't matter because I don't have a special ed degree. My stories don't matter. That must be a one-off. That I don't matter. Even after receiving this award, I still am told that kids can't actually learn together, that I must be wrong. And so I want you all to know that we're in good company when you're advocating for your thing, for your people, for your beliefs, that your words do matter, that your stories do matter. And what I heard you say earlier, like finding those people who will listen to you and hold you up, because it can be hard and challenging to keep being told, we're not going to move this thing, we're not going to change this thing. But I think the more we speak up and the more we work together, the more that we can move, we can change, and our kids deserve it, and we deserve it as a society. So thank you so much for allowing me to come.